The time has come for you, Venus. Some people believe that it is the twin of Earth. The reality that we are living in, on the other hand, is nothing like home. In addition, you are about to be presented with the chance to physically experience this swelteringly hot area for yourself. Your mission is to make it through this torturous planet alive for a period of 5 seconds. When I suggest that these 5 seconds are going to be rather lengthy, you should believe me at this point. Venus is the planet that is placed in the second position from the Sun and is the planet that is closer to us than any other planet. When Venus is at its closest approach, the distance between us and it is barely 40 million kilometers, which is equivalent to 25 million miles. The opportunity to have a close look at this planet, which is both beautiful and deadly, would eventually present itself to you after you had been in space for only 4 months. Approximately 4.5 billion years ago, Venus and Earth both began in the same region of our solar system. This event took place in conjunction with one another. This space rock is nearly the same size as the Earth, and its gravity is likewise comparable to that of the Earth. It is located in the center of the universe. On the other hand, in contrast to the conditions that prevail on our own planet, the surface of Venus is extremely harsh. This is something that we are aware of due to the fact that we have sent research probes to this hot and humid planet. During the time that other probes were orbiting the object, others were doing flybys. A number of them even managed to reach the surface of Venus, which is an impressive feat. On the other hand, that did not continue for a very long time. As for them, what exactly happened to them? The response to that inquiry is about to be disclosed to you at this very moment. At this point, it is time for you to make your way down to the floor of the water. Do you not find the sight of these clouds to be incredible? Therefore, it is preferable to avoid breathing them in. It is believed that clouds of sulfuric acid are the cause of these yellowish streaks that are flashing across the sky. In the event that you were just able to catch a whiff of them, you would still be able to discern the smell of rotting eggs. On the other hand, in order to accomplish this, you would be required to remove your helmet, which is something that I personally would strongly advise against doing. At an altitude of 50 kilometers, 30 miles, above the surface of the Earth, visibility is relatively poor. You would be able to make out very little, at most. Not much at all. It would be difficult to view this planet and the tens of thousands of volcanoes that are located on it due to the extraordinarily dense atmosphere that surrounds it. Carbon dioxide is responsible for a sizable amount of the atmosphere's composition. Additionally, due to the fact that it is so thick, it functions as a heat trap on the surface of the planet, ensuring that it consistently maintains a suitable temperature. What is the extent to which we are utilizing the phrase warm? Acquiring this knowledge is likely to be a distressing and unpleasant experience for you. As you proceeded to descend for another 15 kilometers, 10 miles, the haze would begin to dissipate and become less dense. After what seemed like an eternity, the world beneath would now begin to reveal itself. Rust-colored mountains and volcanoes cover a surface that is covered in them. The surface is covered in rocks. It would appear that this volcano is still experiencing a high level of activity. By flying around for a short period of time, you would be able to collect some samples and take in the surroundings. To be more specific, the majority of the atmosphere is made up of carbon dioxide, with a small amount of nitrogen also present. That appears to be acceptable. When your spaceship touched down, it would have caused clouds of dust to be formed, and it would have taken a significant amount of time for the clouds to settle down in the dense atmosphere. You would gaze up into the sky, and the sky would become clear, yet, you would not see the golden circle that is generally associated with the sun while you were looking up into the sky. No matter what time of day it is, Venus always seems to be in the early morning hours. This is true regardless of the time of day. This is because the atmosphere of Venus only permits around 10% of the sunlight that strikes it to reach the surface. This is the reason why this is the case. But wait, what were we talking about before? When we were talking about the space expedition that arrived on Venus, what were we talking about beforehand? Without a doubt, it is Venera 13. When it finally touched down on the surface of the Earth in 1981, this Soviet probe was a sad accident. The plummet was survived, and it proceeded for an incredible 127 minutes of continuous play from the very beginning. The length of this particular spacecraft was much more than that of any other spacecraft that has ever reached the surface. On the other hand, Venera 13 finally gave way to the hostile and unwelcoming environment that is characteristic of this inferno. There is a significant possibility that it was melted or crushed under a great deal of pressure. However, at this moment, it is too late to initiate any kind of reform. You've made it through the landing that lasted for an hour, and now you're approaching the destination with great anticipation. You only need to spend 5 seconds outside in order to effectively accomplish your project. This is all that is expected of you. At the moment, you are encountering the most challenging environment that you have ever encountered. You have a hard time lifting your arms up on your shoulders. You would feel the full force of the incredibly dense air on Venus, despite the fact that Venus has a gravity that is nearly similar to that of Earth. This is because Venus has an enormously compressed atmosphere. Simply put yourself in the position of walking through water. That is the feel that it would have. Water that is extremely hot. Additionally, you would feel relieved to be wearing such a substantial amount of safety gear and equipment. If you take a quick look at your thermometer, you will notice that the temperature outdoors is a scorching 475 degrees Celsius, 900 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the kind of temperature that would cause lead to melt. The pressurized suit you are wearing would be putting forth a significant amount of effort in order to guarantee your safety. Due to the fact that each and every one of those pressures would be too much for you to handle, you would not even be able to complete your goal if you did not actually have it. In reality, this is not quite as terrible as it appears to be. That being said, if a spaceship was able to survive for more than 2 hours 40 years ago, then you and your brand new equipment ought to be able to survive for a longer period of time, right? All that is required of you is to take a few more steps in order to uncover the planet Venus, which is waiting for you to discover it. Something that diverts your attention abruptly interrupts the first ever human assessment of the conditions on the surface of Venus. This investigation is the first of its kind. It seems that your protective gear has developed a crack. You would immediately have the sense that you were standing in the depths of the ocean as a result of the sudden change in pressure. If you were to visit Venus, you would be subjected to a pressure that is 90 times more than that of Earth's atmosphere. This would cause you to be crushed from every direction. You would have a tough time breathing in an environment that was devoid of oxygen if you were to experience the same circumstances. If you were able to breathe in the environment, the inside of your mouth and the top of your throat would get so heated that they would burn. This would be the result of the environment. If you were unable to find a method to return to the safety of your spacecraft as quickly as possible, you would be dead in a matter of seconds due to the fact that you would not be able to escape. Oh, perhaps things could be even more dire. Sulfuric acid clouds that were high above you would be responsible for the acid rain that would fall from the sky. The toxic rain, on the other hand, would not be able to make its way to the surface of the Earth in this atmosphere that is currently intolerably hot. In the time leading up to that point, it would have completely disappeared. At the very least, you wouldn't have to worry about the acid causing your bones and skin to lose their elasticity. If you were to do that, that would be a terrible thing to do. Regarding the other hand, when we look back, it is possible that we ought to have abstained from sending you down to study this terrible surface. It seems likely that we should have gone ahead and terraformed Venus in order to make it a planet that is more viable for human habitation.